everybody, Mrs. K here with another project. So this week we are going to focus on line. So the element of art line is one of the ones that I use the absolute most. You can make entire projects just using line. So this project is similar to one that we've done a little bit before in that it's with a word. This word is going to have 4 letters and the word is going to be line because that's what our project's on. So we have to do bubble letters. I'm going to use a Sharpie, but I suggest you use a pencil at first because it is a little bit tricky to get all of the letters to look nice and be on the same page. Also try to fill up the whole page. So it'll be a little bit easier if you draw your letters bigger to fill them in with the designs afterwards. So I'm going to start here with my L. So you can see I take up most of the paper here. L, I. I'm going to make them close together because the N is going to take up a ton of space. N. And then E. Awesome. Okay, so they all fit. So I have my bubble letters that say line here. So now we're going to learn about some different line types and put them in here. The first one that we're going to learn is really, really easy. It's called a horizontal line. Horizontal lines go like this. So I think in my L, I'm going to put some horizontal lines. Notice that I have the same amount of space between each one and that I only start where it touches the line and goes to the other line. So I'm not doing it messy. I'm not just throwing them across. I'm doing them nice and neatly. Okay, so here I have some horizontal lines. I think I'm going to add one vertical line in every other one. So vertical lines go up and down. Like this. So almost they look like tiny little bricks. And then I think I'm going to do diagonal lines in my L. Diagonal lines go at an angle like this, like you're skiing down a mountain slope. Or you're falling down a hill or sliding down a slide. Again, notice it's about the same space between each one. Okay, so all the lines that I've drawn so far are called also parallel lines. So parallel lines are 2 lines that you can think of an equal sign, or parallel has 2 L's in the word. They go up and down like this. So parallel lines are never ever going to touch. No matter how long they get, doesn't matter. They're never ever going to touch. It doesn't matter if they're horizontal, diagonal, or vertical, like a ladder, okay? They're never ever going to touch. We have a different set of lines that's called perpendicular. Perpendicular is like the opposite of parallel. They do touch. It's like if you have a horizontal line here, and then across, you have a vertical line that cuts between it, okay? So in my I, I'm going to make these boxes perpendicular. I'm just going to put one line in the middle of each of them. Like that. So now I have some parallel lines, some parallel horizontal lines, and I also have perpendicular lines here. Another thing that we can do with our perpendicular lines is color them like a checkerboard. It's really easy because there's only 4 boxes. So I'm going to color in this one. Oops, stay inside the lines. And this one. So checker boxes only touch corners. Okay. And I think I'm going to stick with the top left and bottom right corners on every one of them, just for neatness sake. And you can do this whole project with a pencil. If you want to use markers, you can. If you want to use crayons, you can. Totally fine. I'm just going to use a marker because it shows up nice and dark on the screen for you. You can even use like a ballpoint pen if you wanted to, like a regular pen, or gel pen, I guess you could use too. Awesome. So you can now tell that we have some designs that are thicker, things that are colored in and they're a little bit darker, and then also some designs that are pretty thin. Okay, let's skip over to the end. I'm going to do some zigzag lines. Zigzags are really pointy, so don't get sloppy with this one. They're like little mountains. I'm going to go all the way across my whole end. I have to skip this space here because it's not part of the end. And you can even tell like my little triangles are almost like the same size too. Okay, so now I have some zigzag lines. And I think with my E, I'm going to kind of like divide off these little top parts or these little parts that stick out and put like a different design in there. So I think in the middle, I'm going to do like the opposite of the zigzag, which is make like a curvy wave. So it's like the ocean or like water, only soft bends. Okay. And then I think to spice up this L, to add some details, in every other one, I'm going to do a spiral. This is what a spiral looks like. So it starts out really small, and then it just grows bigger and bigger and bigger. It's like a cinnamon roll. Here I think I can fit 2. Okay, just to give that one a little bit more detail. We can also add some other types of lines or just some designs that you see, or using variants, that means like different types of these kind of lines, to kind of spice up our drawing too. So like in this L, maybe I make little bumps. So just in the blank parts, so again, it's a pattern, every other one, I'm going to put these little bumps. They're like a curvy wave line, but they're a little bit different. But they are a curved like design. Okay, maybe in these boxes here, I want to do diagonal lines. But I also want them to be perpendicular, so I want them to cross. So it's like from corner to corner. like that. So it looks like I have multiple designs on everything except for my N. So I'm going to kind of jazz up my N a little bit. I think I'm just going to add some dots. So dots are like the original line, right? A line is a dot that went for a walk. So I'm just going to make a couple dots. In every other part of my N, just to give it a little jazz, just to give it a little bit more design. And notice I didn't just with my pencil or my marker. I'm like purposely trying to make them all the same size for neatness sake. It's not hard, it just takes a little bit of time. Do this line of my N too. Awesome. All right, guys, I hope you have fun.